The city of Chicago and surrounding Chicagoland area have served as a hotbed for the sport of drag racing for decades now, and they love their door slammers in this part of the world. In fact, back in the early 60s at the International Amphitheater, they raced them indoors during the wintertime. But those days are long over, and this weekend at the palatial Route 66 Raceway, we have pro-modified coverage from the Gerber Collision and Glass NHRA Route 66 Nationals presented by Peak Performance, and it is the NHRA Congruity HR Pro Modified Series powered by Flying H Dragstrip this week. Welcome into the timing tower here at Route 66 Raceway. Brian Loans joined by Chicago native and four-time NHRA Comp Eliminator World Champion Bruno Massel. Bruno, we got the traditional Chicago things. We got some controversy. We got some clouds, but what else do we have?
Yeah, we've got wind. This is Chicago. It's a windy city for a reason. You know, one part of the weekend it's blowing across the track, other parts it's blowing down track. You know, with a tailwind behind these Pro Mod cars, it's going to get nasty and fun because conditions are going to get nice and crisp for Sunday. You know, one of the cool things is Pro Mod, it's always been shaken up. There's always controversy. First few races, Mike Stavrinos, he dominated. We went back to back and we had that double. Then J.R. Gray came in and said, you know what, I've got a screw car that can run. So the NHRA decided we need a little more parity, and they shook up the rules. Is going to make it for an interesting weekend.
It will be. We took Jordan Vandergriff because he's the youngest guy on the crew and stuck him out in the wind, and we sent him down to talk to J.R. Gray about his big win in Charlotte.
J.R. Gray is coming off a dominant win in Charlotte, and J.R., after the last few years, is this now a championship level car?
Yeah, it is. We got a championship team here. The cars are all reacting to every adjustment we make, and they're running flawlessly. We were just running down there. We got that gold Wally in Charlotte, and it was full of lead. NHRA gave me 30 pounds worth of lead to try to slow me down. But we've been hard at it all week trying to find that speed back, and we plan on giving them a run for their money.
And so here we go, the first pair at Route 66 Raceway for this Flying H presented Pro Modified class this weekend. We can see the Eliminations machine, and here is Kevin Rivenbark, the Culp Lumber 1971 Mustang. Certainly one of the most uniquely styled cars here in the Pro Modified arena of NHRA competition in 2025. As we get a look at our point standings currently after 3 races, Mike Stavrinos leads J.R. Gray, Ricky Smith, Billy Banica. You can see Bond, Scruggs, Lasik, and Alex Laughlin hanging in there in the number 8 spot right now. And we go down through the top 16. You can see kind of a knot of cars in that 170 to 180 point back range, including the likes of Mike Janetz, Mason Wright, Caldel Belushi, Sidney Frigo from Brazil in there as well. Our Lucas Oil ladder presented here as we get a look at the 8 pairings for the first round of eliminations. We had a bumper crop of cars trying to qualify for this field, and they have made it in under pretty good conditions here at Route 66 Raceway, outside of, a massive dust storm we had earlier in the weekend. So it will be Rashid Al Belushi. This is the son of Khaled Al Belushi, and he got that thing sideways. He is out of it quickly to keep it off the wall, and Kevin Rivenbark will drive down to a 575 at 249. Young Al Belushi was in the double O's multiple times in qualifying and certainly showed some veteran skills there by getting out of the throttle instantaneously and not getting himself into trouble or the retaining walls. We got to look at this again. Watch the El Nalby car going to tire shake right about the time it's going to make a gear change out there. Kicks sideways, and he was off it very quickly, showing good throttle maintenance, good throttle control, if you will, for the young driver. That across the racetrack is Mike Janetz. This is Mike Stavrinos. Stavrinos from Florida, a man who had one of the historic weekends of NHRA Pro Mod racing just earlier this year in Phoenix, winning 2 races in one weekend. But for Mike Janetz, he has taken the fight. Oh, Janetz blew the thing up. You saw the big puff of smoke as the car backfired by the finish line, and Stavrinos smoked his way around him. 572.8, 252 for Stavrinos as Janetz runs a 580 to slowing 217. Janetz had it in the bag. 500ths advantage off the starting line. You can see the physical difference in the lead. Janetz putting a massive gap on him to the 8th mile, and then you looked like it was starting to melt a piston, and then it backfired up through the intake manifold, and that was that for the New Yorker Mike Janetz. So Mike Stavrinos dodges a bullet and moves on. Billy Banica, the S&B trucking machine out of Mississippi on the right side of your screen. And across the racetrack, it is Dwayne Wolf. Wolf's car has been running well this year. He can drive it, but this time he is way late, way out of the groove, and Billy Banica has nothing to worry about. Banica continues to have a very strong run in 25 with an 0.36 reaction time, a 5.72 elapsed time, and 249 miles an hour of terminal speed. Let's watch Dwayne Wolf again. Something distracted him in the cockpit clearly, and then the car was just unhappy to the point of him being way outside the groove before he got to 330 feet. A look now is Alex Laughlin in the Funhaver Chevrolet Camaro, working with Vaughn Gittin Jr. on his brand on the side of his screw-blown Chevrolet Camaro. And Justin Bond, the JB Equipment Al-Anabi Racing entry, rolling his way in. Bond, the man who is once again trying to vie for a championship. Laughlin's got his hands full. That thing had the front end up for about 300 feet. And Justin Bond, 15 green, 577.9 at 251. Outruns Laughlin's 596. Laughlin, multiple times this season, he's really had to wheel this car, and that showed a lot of veteran experience. This is a guy who's won the U.S. Nationals before. As we watch Laughlin, who stages first, leaves the start. Now watch this thing. He pedaled it early, picked the front end up, really moved around by 330 feet. But in the end, it was Justin Bond, a far cleaner run, got into the stripe first. Stan Shelton and Dmitry Samorukov. Samorukov seemingly has parked the C7 Corvette that he had debuted earlier this season and gone back to their tried and true Camaro. Samorukov from Moscow, Russia, and Shelton from North Carolina. This one's going to be pretty clean, but man, Shelton's got a big car length lead on him past 1,000 feet. He's giving none of it back. 400ths advantage off the starting line for Shelton. Samorukov, a tardy 072 light. As we watch one more time here, you watch Samorukov move second, and the Culp Lumber Company Camaro, the Culp team, has put both of their cars into the round of 8 in second round. J.R. Gray, boy, what a performance this team had at the last race. Gray's team just dominating end to end. He is having himself a career season so far. And across the racetrack is Derek Menhold. Menhold from Big Sky Country in the Menhold Auto Group Chevrolet Camaro. Got in the field at 15, but the reality of the situation is this field is so tight, 15 is still very competitive. 2 reaction times within 0.02 of a second. It's Gray, 570. Outruns a 579, but Menhold threw the sink at him here with a 26 light. Just not quite enough tune-up in that Scott Tidwell Racing Chevrolet Camaro. But for J.R. Gray, this career season in NHRA competition continues. And Gray, who can be one of the best trash talkers in the category, is starting to get enough mojo behind him that he is starting to chirp a little bit more, and that makes things way more entertaining on a week-to-week basis. Mason Wright, the Pro Flow Solutions Camaro, a winner at the New England Nationals a couple of years ago. And Chip King. King, the DreamWorks Motorsports 1970 Charger, the number 16 qualifier, trying to take out number 1. The longest odds, if you will, performance-wise in the category, and it gets way longer when the guy puts a 0.5 of a second on you at the starting line. And Mason Wright absolutely took Chip King to the cleaners. 571 for King. Wright runs a 570 with a 9. On paper, it seems close until you take that 500ths gap that Wright got for himself off the starting line. Number 1 qualifier, leaving first and performing under this blue sky at Route 66 Raceway. A near flawless run here for Mason Wright in the first round of the Congruity Pro Mod Series in Chi-Town. Ken Cartuccio. See the PLR representing Proline Racing across the butterflies of the Supercharger on his Camaro to take on Ricky Smith. Now, if you note, there is one thing absent on Smith's car. That is the hood scoop. Ricky Smith, on multiple times this weekend, shattered the hood scoops. They came apart like they were made of paper mache at the top end. He said he's going to run this thing. He's afraid of maybe leaning out, messing with his tune-up early. He said he wasn't going to take any chances with it. 004 green on Cartuccio. Smith shuts it off early. 574 for Ken Cartuccio at 251. But Ricky Smith, near perfect off the starting line. Had Cartuccio seemingly on some early numbers in performance. But again, he said he was going to be conservative, lacking the airflow from the hood scoop into his engine. Did not want to ruin a motor by potentially having it go lean. And so you can see, I mean, he is well within this race. Clicks it. Cartuccio sprints for the stripe. And Ken Cartuccio goes on to round 2. It is the Congruity HR Pro Mod Series presented this weekend, of course, by the folks at Flying H Dragstrip. And we'll be back with the round of 8, number 2, when we return from this break here in Chicago.
Wednesday on Fox. It's the 2025 Women's Euros. Imagine this. 70,000 plus screaming their lungs out like it's a rock concert. Pause for ovation. This is where the names on the back play for the crest on the front.
That's incredible!
All for the right to be called Europe's best.
That was terrific!
The Women's Euros begin Wednesday on Fox.
Safe like repair, safe like replace.
Sadly, windshield chips can turn into windshield cracks. But at least you can go to safelight.com and schedule a fix in minutes.
Sweet.
SafeLight can come to you for free. And our highly trained techs can replace your windshield right at your home. With flexible payment options, get it fixed now and pay later, only at safelight.com.
Safe Light Repair, Safe Light Replace.
Looks like we've told people Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need. For the last time. Huh. Shallow. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
We asked people who said they've had Domino's stuffed crust pizza before to compare it to our new stuffed crust.
It's better than the one they have currently.
Only Domino's has never had stuffed crust before.
Are you serious?
Until now. Introducing Domino's new and first ever stuffed crust pizza. Try one for the first time tonight.
This is phenomenal.
I'm Antron Brown, 4-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when I started my own race team, that was a hard and heavy feat. But one way that got me there quick and fast was Congruity. Congruity was plug and play. When it came in from payroll to workman's comp and also health insurance, they brought it into one bundle, one easy program that you can navigate through yourself, do all your taxes. What I'm telling you is to set it and forget it of all your HR resources all in one spot, period.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S. Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away. Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Coming August 15th and 16th, it's Quarter Mile Mania at Flying H Dragstrip in Odessa, Missouri. The quickest and fastest quarter-mile NHRA legal door slammers on the planet will be battling for a purse of $45,000 and roaring down the world-class surface at Flying H at speeds approaching 260 miles per hour. The biggest stars of NHRA Pro Modified Drag Racing running all the way to the quarter-mile stripe. Get your tickets for Quarter Mile Mania today at flyinghrdragstrip.com. August 15th and 16th at Flying H Dragstrip, it's Quarter Mile Mania. The Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals presented by Peak is brought to you by Flying H Dragstrip, Kansas City's new quarter-mile drag strip. And we are back here, a beautiful look at downtown Chicago, one of America's great cities, as we move in to one of America's great drag racing classes in the world of Congruity HR Pro Modified at the Route 66 Nationals. So here it is, both of the Culp Lumber Company cars. The good news is one of them's going to the semis, but the other one is going home. As we fly over the pit area, we get a look at the number 13 qualifier advancing. The deepest on the field for Ken Curtuccio. He will have Justin Bond, Gray Banica, Shelton, Rivenbark on the racetrack right now, and then Wright will take on Stavrinos. The yellow dots indicating lane choice. Really has been an even racetrack so far this weekend. No major differentiation between lanes other than driver performance. And these two have performed very well. Shelton 7 thousandths advantage, but he loses the race. 5.78.1. Margin of victory 36 10,000ths of a second by Kevin Rivenbark. The fourth digit to the right of the decimal place. Just 16 inches at 248 miles per hour. We watch this one again. It is as close to a dead heat as you're going to see in Pro Mod racing. Both cars make a bit of a wiggle at the top of that first gear just by the gear change into second. But it was Rivenbark doing a marginally better job, and that moves him into the round of 4 here in Chicago. Ken Curtuccio, left-hand side. You can see the screw supercharged engine climbing up through the hood versus Justin Bond, the much flatter hood with his ProCharger equipped Hemi. Curtuccio, number 13 qualifier, trying to put one on the Allen Abbey Racing JBS equipment Camaro. Justin Bond has 100th advantage, 21-30. Justin Bond's engine's going away. You saw the smoke out of the right side. That is the proverbial death smoke there. 5.76.6 at 250 as Bond's car comes up lame, going only 212 miles an hour past the finish line. And Ken Curtuccio finally seems to be in a groove here today that he has not been able to find this season. He had such an incredible preseason and the early season races, but in the NHRA series, been a bit snake bitten, but it does seem to be turning Curtuccio's way now. Those were rounds that he typically wasn't seeing early in the year. The street truck world Chevrolet Camaro of Allen Abbey Racing, Mike Stavrinos, Mason Wright. Flow Solutions car closest to us. Two very intense racers, two guys who have been in and around the Pro Mod category for some time. Stavrinos 022. This guy has been dominating all season long, but would you look at that? The Justin Elks-Toon Chevrolet of Mason Wright goes 570 at 252 to outrun Stavrinos 573. Stavrinos was better by 14 thousandths, but as you can see, a couple of hundredths performance advantage for Mason Wright as that modern racing tuned machine is able to simply outrun the Todd Tutterow, Sheikh Khaled Al-Tahani's tuned machine of Mike Stavrinos. Burnouts being completed now. Left-hand side, that was Billy Bannigan that went smoking by you. And here comes the big burnout of J.R. Gray. J.R. Gray has had his head down. He has been working hard the last couple of seasons, but he went overseas before this season as Bannigan's car is being pushed back. The S&B Trucking Camaro. That was about the one thing that's been able to stop Bannigan this season, mechanical trouble. He's been very good otherwise. As I was beginning to mention, oh boy, and Gray got away with one here. Comes off the starting line, car moves left with the front end up. He shuts it down. He would have been in very deep trouble if Bannigan had been able to stage his race car. But the offseason that J.R. Gray spent overseas, making runs, working on the tune-up, working with his team, has paid off big time. You see, he's one of the championship favorites. Very interesting. It seemed he was tracking pretty straight, but I guess it was up on the wheelie bars when it made it to the transition. And when that happened, it started to pick a direction. And J.R. Gray did not need to be a cowboy without a competitor in the other lane. The final four: Wright, Curtuccio, Gray, and Rivenbark. Mason Wright, everybody on this final four has won a race. Curtuccio has won the race, the U.S. Nationals, a few years back. We'll be right back from Chicago with more.
So sick.
Are you okay?
I'm incredible. So many in-network docs on ZocDoc. This one never rushes appointments, and that one makes patients feel heard. Booked.
You've got options. Book now.
Hey, let me let you in on a secret real quick. This stuff right here is something that you want to add into your repertoire. Because Blue Chew is my new go-to. One thing you're not going to do is regret getting it.
When I started Walton Goggins Goggle Glasses, I needed a website. And GoDaddy Aero uses AI to make a beautiful website so fast it'll blow my customers' noggins. While they're shopping for Goggins for their noggins.
Safe Flight Repair.
Perfecting your swing is hard.
Nice shot, Dad. Safe Flight Replace.
But replacing your windshield doesn't have to be. Get it fixed now and pay later with flexible payment options only at safelight.com.
It's time for the world's most extreme sport. The NHRA on Fox.
Gone like a shot.
This ain't just racing. The NHRA on Fox.
I was so ready to get Chime. I just wanted to make sure they had ATMs and a way to deposit cash. Chime has over 50,000 fee-free ATMs, and I can add cash at over 8,000 Walgreens with no fee. Join Chime, the #1 most loved banking app.
To avoid digital threats, just turn on NordVPN. Improve your protection against trackers, malicious websites, and malware-ridden downloads. Get the deal now.
Mando Whole Body Deodorant is clinically proven to block odor all day and control it for 72 hours. What's Mando's secret? It paralyzes odor-causing bacteria. You stop bacteria, you stop odor. Plus, it was invented by a doctor right here in the USA. Get 30% off at shopmando.com.
Kevin paid off over $12,000 in credit card debt with the help of Consolidated Credit. They cut his interest rates and lowered his payments so he could pay off his debt fast. Call 800-245-8919 for a free consultation.
The Gerber Collision and Glass Route 66 NHRA Nationals presented by Peak is sponsored by Congruity. Congruity HR is your local partner for outsourced human resources. And we are back. A look at Navy Pier. You can climb up there in the Ferris wheel, get a beautiful look at the city. And right now it is Kevin Rivenbark. You can see that stubby injector hat on top of the PSI screw supercharger, forcing gobs of engine or air into the engine. See some of those fuel lines as well, introducing fuel to the top of the supercharger, almost a liquid form of intercooling, as methanol fuel will cool the air as it heads through the blower. Wright and Curtuccio, Gray and Rivenbark. That is what we're talking about on the racetrack right now. So Kevin Rivenbark, a winner in Phoenix a couple of seasons back, and a man who has won in small tire drag racing as well as outlaw style pro mod racing. J.R. Gray, a guy whose drag racing career started on the test and tune kind of streetcar level as a kid, worked its way up into the grudge ranks of the Carolinas, a very tough place to win, a very tough place to kind of ply the trade. And he has climbed his way all the way to this rank of quarter-mile, 250-mile-an-hour pro mod racing. Rivenbark sitting and waiting. Get a look here as you're going to watch Gray roll in. He'll turn on the pre-stage bulb. And then the big question is how deep they will roll it into the fully staged position. The deeper you put the car in there, the better reaction time might be, but you might cheat yourself out of some performance. Oh boy, both of them moving around sideways. Rivenbark doing an exceptional job of saving his run, but that run was not going to be good enough to stop a 578 of J.R. Gray, who heads to another final round, 252.24 miles an hour. That car has been absolutely dealing so far this season, as Rivenbark's 594 required an exceptional amount of skill. Watch Rivenbark, left side of your screen. It was the losing run, but a guy without a much experience is not going to be able to save that run. You saw him, the left front coming up there at about 330 feet as he was all over the wheel. Meanwhile, Gray was on a rail going 570s to take the win. Mason Wright. It's been a minute since Mason's been in a final round. It's been just a couple of, well, it's been a minute since Cartuccio has been, but for Mason Wright, when I say a minute, I mean like a couple of seasons. When I say Cartuccio, I mean a couple of months. The guy did a lion's share of his winning in the January-February timeframe of 2025. When this season picked up in March, things have come a bit slower, still been highly competitive. They have made some changes, I believe, mechanically to this race car, and it has been the steed he has needed so far today. It was not great in qualifying, but he has been able to handle his business on race day. Gerber collision side for Wright, Toyota side for Ken Cartuccio. Oh boy, Cartuccio's car out first and moving around. A huge advantage for Cartuccio, but Mason Wright is going to put him away. 571. Ken's car just quit accelerating. 611.5 at 200. Wright went sailing by him at about the 8th mile, never to look back, as the precision pump and equipment machine also making his way to a final round. Look at this. You can see he's out there. Everything's looking peachy keen for Cartuccio, and then it just isn't, as he looks over and sees the second black Camaro of the pair just gap him toward the finish line. Mason Wright and J.R. Gray are trying to win the Route 66 Nationals. It has been one of those seasons in Pro Mod. We went so long before having a repeat winner, then we saw Stavrinos do it early in the season, but Wright and Gray are trying to put their names in the books. Gray for the second time, Wright for the first time. The Toyota display had a line. The autograph session was banging, but our final round will be even better, and it's coming up right after this.
And Doug.
Okay, here's what you want to do. Save hundreds when Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance.
Are you a caddy?
No, I'm a Doug, and that's a Limu.
Okay, I'm gonna putt now.
Okay, I'm gonna watch you putt.
Oh!
Nice birdie.
Yes, he is a very nice birdie.
Oh no, Limu! The cards!
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
In a Jurassic world, every Jeep vehicle is Jurassic rated. Experience open-air freedom for all. Unsurpassed towing, no matter what it is. Or a third row to fit in all the adventure. Jeep. Jurassic World Rebirth.
Right now with Employee Pricing Plus, purchase and get an average of $8,200 below MSRP on 2025 Jeep Gladiator, Rubicon, and Mojave models. Hurry, this great offer will become extinct June 30th.
I'm Antron Brown, 4-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when I started my own race team, that was a hard and heavy feat. But one way that got me there quick and fast was Congruity. Congruity was plug and play. When it came in from payroll to workman's comp and also health insurance, they brought it into one bundle, one easy program that you can navigate through yourself, do all your taxes. What I'm telling you is set it and forget it of all your HR resources all in one spot, period.
Your whole day rides on your diesel truck. Don't let anything slow it down. Keep life and drive with America's #1 DEF brand. Only Blue DEF products are triple filtered and guaranteed pure. And Blue DEF Platinum helps prevent deposits before they create problems. So nothing stands between you and the day, wherever it takes you. Count on Blue DEF and Blue DEF Platinum. Guaranteed for what drives you.
Tucker leads the Cubs against the Astros, or the Phillies take on the Braves. Saturday at 7 Eastern on Fox.
The U.S. puts it all on the line against Costa Rica. It's win or go home. The Gold Cup quarterfinal, Sunday on Fox.
A look here in the pit area of Mike Janis earlier this weekend with Alex Laughlin. You can see the work being done. Experienced crewmen servicing these blown, alcohol-burning Hemi engines. Different methods used to boost them, whether it's screw superchargers, nitrous oxide, or Roots blowers. They are used in many different ways as centrifugals as well, as we see Mason Wright and J.R. Gray making their way now to a final round here in Chicago. And now we look down to see the precision pump and compressor Camaro, along with ProFlow Solutions for Mason Wright. Mentioned Modern Racing and the team that is behind working on this race car. Justin Elks and his crew, experienced as they are. The doors come open now on Gray's side of the racetrack. You have to wonder, J.R. Gray, on the run that he's having right now, is anybody going to be able to stop this guy? For Mason Wright, one of the nicest guys in the category, an intense racer. Always seems to have a smile on his face no matter how it's going. Wright has one career victory in the category, coming back to New England Dragway just a couple of years ago. He actually wrecked a car here in spectacular fashion a few years ago. There's a rite of passage that both of these guys did. Gray had his moment in Denver a few years back. He got the car up by the center line and rolled it over and skidded through the lights. Well, on the other side of the racetrack, Mason Wright had that same rite of initiation here in Chicago. Same style of issue. Car got up by the center line, gets a little bit of a loss of traction, drove itself to the left and rolled itself over. So they have both kind of come through that same road, and we have seen it happen so many times. Mason Wright's car runs a Roots-style supercharger. Adjustments were made coming into this race on the Roots supercharged cars. They were given a weight penalty, if you will. The race was called a lead trophy because of the success we saw the Roots tuned combinations having, especially those one of this man. J.R. Gray has been kind of big speed of the meet perennially so far in 2025. We've seen this car go the better part of 254, 255 miles an hour. One last look in and point toward Mason Wright, who will be leaving the Route 66 Nationals, a Congruity HR Pro Mod winner this afternoon, presented by Flying H Dragstrip out there in Odessa, Missouri. And they are both going to take a minute. Wright goes in first. Here comes Gray. J.R. Gray goes 14 thousandths red. Mason Wright was a day late, but it does not matter. His opponent fouled his way out, and Mason Wright, for the second time in his NHRA career, is a national event winner. 573.4, 251.25 miles per hour. Mason Wright has gotten it done. We saw him when we looked at the initial points to start this race, coverage, where he had been sitting, kind of past the quick 8. Well, he is now well within the top 8 points earners in the category with the victory here as we go to the top end of the racetrack and check in with our winner, Mason Wright.
Well, the second career Wally is going to go in the hands of Mason Wright as that get delivered over here. This one might look a little different as this is a milestone Wally here in Chicago, as well as for the Gerber Collision and Glass Trophy as well. And Mason, absolute domination. The #1 qualifier. You're the quickest car in every single one of your pairings today. How do you level up competition like that?
Well, you can't take any of these teams lightly, and you know the King carried me the whole way. Yeah, I did not do my job on the starting line in any pass, and the team deserves this all. Wow, my little girl's gonna be so happy to get this when I get home. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations to Mason Wright, right around the neck of his daughters, guys.
Truly one of the good guys in NHRA Pro Mod drag racing, and it's always good when a good guy succeeds. We'll be back with the Pro Mod category in Bristol, followed by Richmond, and then the U.S. Nationals as the road to the championship, determining our 2025 champion will really thicken after the U.S. Nationals.